my Lisan Al-Gaib.
Hello, I'm Ryan Donato.
Hello, welcome back to another hard review, and I am here to talk about my favorite director's new movie. We have Trap by M. Night Shyamalan. Trap follows a man who takes his daughter to go to a concert for her favorite pop star, and little does he know, but there is a trap set up at the arena because they know that there's going to be this serial killer called the Butcher that will be there at the concert, and they're trying to get him. Josh Hartnett, the father of the girl, is our serial killer. That's kind of the twist of the trailer, the concept of the film. We are stuck here. We gotta get out. How are we gonna do it? Obviously, I was very excited about this movie. It was my most anticipated movie of the year. Let me start off by saying I really enjoyed watching this movie. I had a great time. I thought it was really well done. I was thrilled. I really enjoyed Josh Hartnett's performance, and that's really the main thing with this film. People are really excited about the heartening. Josh Hartnett is back, and he's in a lead role, and he plays a serial killer. This is a very meaty role because he gets to kind of play the lame, like, dad, like, goofy, corny dad, but he's also got this, like, dark serial killer, like, I'm gonna fuck shit up side to him. And I really enjoyed his performance. I think that a lot of people like him because he's hot, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat. I mean, he is very attractive. I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm just saying that I think a lot of this is inflated by the fact that everyone's really attracted to him. Seeing him on a dime switch from goofy, corny dad to this scary serial killer is very cool. It's one of my favorite performances of the year. Speaking of performances in the movie, the pop star is played by Suleika, which is M. Night's other daughter, not the daughter who directed The Watchers, is Shauna. This is Suleika. She does music. She did a song for Old, the one that she's listening to in the car and that plays throughout the credits at the end. M. Night had the idea for this movie because he took his daughter to a Taylor Swift concert and he was like, oh, well, wouldn't it be creepy and scary and cool if there was a serial killer here? Kind of reminds me of that credit card ad that came out like decades ago where M. Night's just sitting in a diner and he's just noticing little like creepy, scary things going on at the tables around him. And it's like, that's what he did here. He's at this concert and he's just like, what if scary movie happened here? And it just so happens it's a wonderful opportunity for his daughter to do a whole entire soundtrack. I think in the opening credits, it's like she wrote, performed, sang, produced all the music for this movie. By the way, huge missed opportunity not having Midsize Sedan be the opener for this movie. I mean, I know every director's not Quentin Tarantino, but clearly M. Night thinks he's really cute having himself cameo in most of his movies. So why not just do a little connecting piece there, right? I'm not really great at judging singing. If anything, I like when people are bad at singing because I feel like it's more relatable. Suleika did a great job singing. My girlfriend, who knows a lot more about singing, was like, no, she was actually really good. And she gets a lot of time to act in this movie as well, and I think she did a really good job holding her own in those scenes too. I don't think any of the music that she did in this movie is music that I would necessarily go back to the movie soundtrack to listen to, but it's also music that's intended for teenage girls, so it's not really like I'm the demographic. The thing that holds back this movie for me is that it doesn't really have the emotional resonance that I feel like a lot of M. Night's other movies have. Now, I understand that the guy who made The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable and Signs doesn't exist anymore. Those are the holy trinity of M. Night movies. In my opinion, those are his three best ones by far. Now, we are in a bit of an M. Night resurgence here. Ever since 2015, The Visit was a big hit, and then Split was really big hit, and that let him do Glass, and then the last two he did were adapted screenplays with Old and with Cabin at the End of the World. And now he is back to making original movies here with Trap, which is, I think, the first of 3 or 4 movies that he signed on to do with Warner Brothers. But even in the last 2, which I was like, stop doing adapted screenplays, like, I miss your personal, like, flair to your movies. I think the writing in the last 2 movies was the weakest part of Old and Knock at the Cabin, so I was really excited to see him do another original screenplay. At least in those movies, I cry. Don't get me wrong, I'm such a huge fan. I cried at the Blinding Edge logo. I cried when M. Night made his cameo. There's a moment in the movie where everything kind of feels like it changes or turns, and I was like, ooh. But I never had a moment where I was like crying, like emotional, or I didn't really feel like I was super connected to the character arc of the main character. Now, this is like new territory for M. Night because usually he has like a good person be the main character of his movies. So this is the first time he's had like a bona fide bad person as the lead. And a lot of the personal, like internal conflict with Josh Hartnett's character didn't work for me very much. The stuff with his mother, none of that really translated to me. I do feel like this movie is like 15 minutes too long. It's an hour and 45. You cut 15, cut all the mom stuff. stuff. That was kind of weird. Somebody on Rotten Tomatoes compared this to Red Eye, which, by the way, super short movie. Wes Craven, very similar filmmaker to M. Night. So I thought it was an apt comparison. And that movie, yeah, way shorter. So this should also be way shorter. It also reminded me of like The Guest a lot, actually. And then Cape Fear is one that came to mind because it's like this great director who's really not trying to shoot for the moon like he usually does. He's just trying to make this nice little high concept, fun thriller. And he's not really trying to say a whole lot and make you cry. He's not trying to make you cry. And that's my problem with is I like crying. I'm an emotional guy. It seems like there's two camps when it comes to this movie. I mean, it has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it didn't screen early for critics, so I kind of had to watch it when everyone else watched it, and the Rotten Tomatoes score came out a little bit later because of this. But if you are not a fan of M. Night, and this is way more of a plot-heavy M. Night movie instead of a character-based one where we're like hanging out with all these characters and diving into what makes them them, exploring their internal conflict, this is much more like, okay, so we're in a situation, it's an impossible situation, how are we going to get out of this situation? Let's go. All right, let's moving fast, really quickly, a mile a minute, right? And so since it's a more plot-heavy movie, instead of people complaining about the awkward, cringe M. Night dialogue that his characters usually spout, which I'm sure they'll still complain about it here, now we're complaining about little plot holes, like, oh, the police would never do that, or oh, this, and like, oh, this impossible scenario, you have to have all these ridiculous things happen so that he's able to maneuver it in some kind of way. So I just feel like the plot of this movie kind of puts it in a box, which is one of the strengths of the movie as well, because since he's in this box, the ability for him to stretch out this concept into a feature, keep it intense and thrilling, is super impressive. I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. I really desperately want to give it a 5 out of 5, but it's just not one that I love in that way. It doesn't give me this full, balanced, perfect movie, kind of like a lot of his other ones do. And I overrate the shit out of M. Night. I think the only M. Night movies I like less than this, and they are significantly less, would be Lady in the Water, The Last Airbender. I would also say After Earth, which doesn't even really count as an M. Night movie to me. And that's really it. The people who are game for M. Night will really have a good time with this. They'll love Josh Hart's performance. They'll think it was a fun, awesome ride, and more power to them. You know, I feel bad giving this a 4 out of 5 because people who know me are going to see that I give it a 4 out of 5 and be like, oh, so it must really suck then, right? It's just sad because the last 5 M. Night movies I feel like I liked more than this, but maybe it'll grow on me over time and it'll be really interesting to see how audiences feel about this. Yeah, movies are supposed to make audiences feel certain ways, and it's really interesting when a movie comes out that's divisive like this. So I'm really excited to see how it'll do at the box office, how the ratings will churn out, and which people in my life feel which way about it. So please go watch this movie. M. Night is back, an event filmmaker, an M. Night Shyamalan experience. Go check this one out, the cinema. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Like, comment, subscribe. And why don't you guys tell me what your favorite M. Night movie of the resurgence is. So that's from The Visit till now. So Visit, Split, Glass, Old, Knock at the Cabin. We have Trap. Just a quick recap of my M. Night ranking to take us out here. I have Unbreakable at the top. That's just my personal favorite. I'm a superhero guy. I like that shit. Followed by Sixth Sense, which is just the best one. And then Signs, which is like low-key my favorite. Then after that, there's a bit of a gap, and then we have Split. After Split, at the 5, I would probably go with The Village, which I think is super underrated. 6, I would go with, give me The Visit. I love The Visit. 7, give me Old. 8, Glass. 9, Knock at the Cabin. 10, The Happening. Yes, it's so bad that it's good, guys. Sorry. 11 would be Trap. 12, Lady in the Water. 13, The Last Airbender. And 14, the worst is After Earth. Wide Awake should also count. I would put that probably just behind Trap, or maybe just ahead, because I have both those at a 4 out of 5. And I haven't seen Praying with Anger because I'm a fake fucking fan.